Welcome, everyone, to this week's Global Intelligence Update. And this week, we're continuing from the previous session that we had with Roshani, Shenazz. And guys, if you don't know who Roshani, Shenazz is, please go back to the previous session. We've shared the link in the social media groups or on all different platforms. So you guys can just click back on that link and go watch the previous one. If you want to get caught up with the conversation today, and it's going to be a great one as well. So, Roshani, thanks for joining us again. We're really excited to have you here and to pick up from the last session. So is there anything you'd like to add in before we get started with the session?
No, maybe you could start with a little recap if you want so that we can seamlessly
Yeah.
move into the next part.
Yeah, so guys, on the previous session, we spoke quite a lot about intuitive decision making, and there was different points as well. But the main thing there was balance, of course,
Right.
intuitive decision making, but energy as well. And Rasani touched so many points that one of my questions, or the question that I wanted to start with was, Roshani, what is decision? What is intuitive decision making? Can you give us a recap? And Roshani just reversed that role on me there. But I think,
Okay.
yeah, please go ahead.
I'll take it from where we ended, I think, last time. It was based on the E2s,
Yes.
the ego-driven leadership and the selfish ego and the selfless ego, which is the spirit-led leadership, as we spoke about. Now, in the aspect of intuition or gut feeling, as we call, it is, if you see or retrospect or read about any entrepreneurs, business people, you will find within the storyline a lot of points where it would have been that. I got this sudden thing and this happened and I got on to make this or make this happen, or took this decision and started this and then it evolved.
Yeah.
So this sense of urge or a push from within that makes us do something, and everything inside of us tells us that this is right at that point in time, is 99% of the times what we call as intuition or gut feeling.
Yeah.
And when we are leading in a conscious or aware leadership format, as we move about with our, the placement of our big why, to moving about doing our human actions to create the work and the business that we want to, and then leading it forward to what has to be. Now, in that gamut, we need to understand that we may begin alone, but then you are not alone. You have so many different people's energy that comes and starts, moving around and becoming a collective force for the business, for the work, for the project, and so on. So, something that could have started with that intuitive feeling or the gut feeling of you wanting to do it and you getting into it is now becoming a combined effort with different energies. And intuition driven leadership, or as we would call it, the intuition based decision making process that we need to do, it has got various factors, because now you're not alone, and now in the business, though you may have that intuition, though you may have that awareness or foresightedness, you also have to see the highest best of everyone concerned and involved in it. So, beyond the data and analysis of our lives lies this powerful entrepreneurial tool, and which is called the intuition. So, spiritual entrepreneurs, as I would like to call it, develop these practices for accessing and trusting their intuitive guidance while maintaining the practical, pragmatic side of the business discipline that is required. So, if you have to be firm with someone, you have to be firm with someone. So the right balance of the head and the heart, you know, and that's why also they are in alignment and one below the other. And also that when we shift to the higher mind, then we actually allow what divinity has given us in this form as well, that the head is above the heart, so that the higher mind can balance the emotional turbulence or anything that we go through and keep it in its fortress of sorts of guiding the life force energy towards the rightful things that we need to do. And in that part, as a daily practice, what I do or what others could do is, one is create space with regular periods of silence, reflection, and hearing that subtle voice within us. That voice may sound as ourselves, the voice may sound outside of us as maybe a parent's voice or celestial voice or whatever it could be. But it is something that is speaking to us, that divine intelligence within us is speaking to us. That's why we also say that the body speaks to us, right? And there is also this beautiful study how we have two brains, because the second brain is called the heart brain, which takes the reflexes of life first, which is the intuitive brain, which is the brain that feels or absorbs first before it can be processed by the conscious brain or the waking brain. And therefore, to sit and create this space of contemplation, of constant few minutes of silence. I think we spoke about the silence bank as well, that even if 5 minutes of silence is, produced every single day by each one of us, then we will have a good chunk of savings of that silence at the end of the month and then at the end of the year. And that becomes our reservoir, that becomes our space to fall back in when there is. And at a lot of times working with workers, working with a downline can be extremely chaotic when people are on their own trip. So it just requires that, yes, you may burst out because that is a normal aspect at that time. But then the moment you get your time and you get your sacred space, you go in. Okay, now what is the solution to this? So creating space helps that. Then noticing signals, awareness of our bodily sensations. As I said, our heart brain gives out signals extremely instantaneously, and the bodily sensations or the sentient beings can feel it. Those who are cognizant can maybe get more in the head of a knowingness of sorts through that intuition, and the emotional responses with the options that the body or the higher mind is giving us at that point. At times you may feel that somebody has come to do something, and just that is a strong feeling, I don't think I should do this deal with this person. I don't think I feel like dealing with this person. Now, that person has not done anything wrong to you. There is no practical reason for you to refuse the dealing or working with this person. But something inside you strongly says something is amiss. This is not right. And I don't feel like doing this or going ahead with it. Have you ever felt that for anything?
Yes, yes, Roshani, definitely. I
Yeah.
think everyone listening can relate.
Yes. And that is our intuition giving a signal. But a lot of times we rubbish it out. We put it on the sideline, we put it under the carpet, thinking, oh, this is silly. Oh, my mind is just, giving me stories and so on. And actually, when mind is giving us a story, we believe that narrative. But when intuition talks, we put it under the carpet. So when we create this space and start recognizing the signal and honoring the signals, what happens is it starts blooming more and more. The more we honor it, the more strengthened it will become. The more clarity in that decision, which is coming from within, will happen to us. And the third is to test and verify. Create small experiments, to confirm your intuitive insights before you do on major commitments. So there are these, small practices. I just put up, have this small reel that I'm going to put up on strengthening our intuition, whereby you could open up a book every day, every alternate day, whenever you know that these are 200 pages book. Just close your eyes and just connect with your inner self for a few moments with some deep breaths. Connect to your breath, and then think about, okay, opening the book, which page number have I landed on? And if there are 200 pages, if you want 1 to 200, you can just think of which page I've landed. Or if you want to bifurcate further, is it a page between first 1 to 50 pages? And see the yes and no that you get, and then move further. And then when you get yes, so if you get a yes that it is between 75 to 100, then stop and you can go further. Is it between 75 to 80? Is it between 80 to 85? Is it between 85 to 90? And see the yes and no's that you get till you land in, on, or around that page number. And it'll help you strengthen it. You get this spark of a feeling or intuitive thought, or just as, oh, wow, what a brilliant idea. Don't put it aside and journal it and put it down. And if not, then at least a few days later or some months later, for some people, the dots will join for sure.
Wow.
You can do little practices, and there are a whole lot of other practices with breathing, time that you can give, with different kinds of breathing that you can do to strengthen your heart chakra, to strengthen the intuitive gut feeling that is going to be helpful to each one of us in the operator world, for our businesses, for our jobs, as leaders, for everything that we want to do.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much for that, Roshani. That's a complete recap, guys. I don't think I would have been able to fill those fill those shoes. But thank you so much, Roshani. That's quite a lot of information shared, and it's gold nuggets, guys. It's really gold nuggets. So thank you so much for that. Roshani, touching back on the last session that we had, we spoke about conscious company cultures. And I want to ask you, what are the essential ingredients to that, to creating that?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, Chris?
Yeah, no problem. Last time we spoke about conscience, company culture. So I'm asking, what are the ingredients to be able to get that in your company? Roshani, you are on
Yes,
mute.
yes, I was on mute. Sorry.
Yeah. You got the question?
Yes, I got it. So, the first part I would like to begin over here is that a lot of times right now, in the last few decades, we have seen a lot of youngsters, especially, you know, giving up lives to the epitomic extreme, to harming themselves, to doing things which are wrong, because they have not been able to handle failure. And the most important part, I think, which we have missed, where schools or our childhoods have not taught us, is how to create a conscious relationship with failure, how to embrace it, how to implement its learnings and lessons as stepping stones, rather than taking it head on of what will the world say, and now how will I face the world, and now what will happen. So the aspect of this relationship for an entrepreneur internally, you may not immediately kind of spread it out into the downline or so, because some people may just get complacent with that. So it requires, fragile hand holding, how you seep in this concept of creating a conscious relationship and connection with failure to everyone around you. And why this is the base and foundation? Because there will be upheavals, there will be wrongs, and there will be mistakes, and there will be problems. If this relationship is not maintained and held strongly, then collapsing is very easy. Breaking down is very easy. So, therefore, I personally feel and implementing within myself that to be ready to do your best and be ready for the worst kind of a thing, and to know then how to handle it. And only when you have a conscious leadership culture within yourself first. Charity begins at home, and that home is ourself. If we have that within ourselves, will we be able to be a living example for the rest of the crowd around you who's working for us? So, spiritual entrepreneurs' approach towards failure usually is not very devastating. You'll see that resilience is very, very high. Setbacks will be there, but they will become essential teachers for them. They will come up even stronger the next time. And by releasing the attachment to these specific outcomes while maintaining the commitment to the purpose, to the why, to everything that is happening around you, we develop that stronger resilience to transcend the typical business cycles and issues that we will face. Because then failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of the success. And when it is approached with that awareness, with that conscious knowingness, then it opens its vast gateways to lessons that no books can teach us. Moving into creating this conscious company culture with the base of knowing that things may fail, things may go wrong several times. It is setting out first certain well being practices of supporting mental, physical, and spiritual health of people. So, getting your core team to have certain practices by themselves individually, or there could be. So, for example, one company in Dubai, we started with, giving them a set of affirmations that they could do by creating a circle of light every day, holding hands, and saying the affirmations aloud. Even in my NGO right now, the slum children who come every day for their free class, it is called Sat Shala. The teacher runs them through these 7, 8 affirmations that I've given, which they speak aloud by being in a circle and holding hands. They do a prayer every single day at the class, at the end of the class before they leave. So, certain kind of well being practices could be put into place at the workspace, and they could be cultivated further. There could be a day for things like also a talent day. It could be once a month. It need not be once a year, an annual program of sorts. Allow people to surface their hobbies and their inner selves. When people are in connection with their inner selves, their output will be the best. Right? So it is to create these kind of different practices which will hone the talents of the employees and people in the downline and help them elevate in their personal space. When I feel good about myself, I want to put out the good to feel more good about myself. And that's human nature. And then the cycle will have its own ripple effect as we move on. Second is creating authentic relationships. You know, so even if you have to reprimand, you have to reprimand. You have to appreciate, you have to appreciate. Both go hand in hand. But creating that authentic relationship, that no, there will be reprimanding when things are wrong and when things are in an upheaval, and the person has to take it in the same way that the person takes appreciation. And to allow people to get that balance, that every time things cannot be hunky dory. And it cannot be happy clapping all the time. And that is life. If life is a straight line, we are declared dead. Only when the graph is moving up and down are we alive. And that's what life is. And we have to treat our everyday happenings with that. I cannot tell you of how much of shouting and screaming I've just finished today morning with the bank who seems to mess up every single time and have something new pop up. It's like, oh, one problem is over. Now let's give you another one. But that's what life is. Waves will come and waves will go, and there will be high tide and there will be low tide. But when you are resilient inside, how much ever is happening, you will yet internally, you may outwardly have to do what you have to do to, put something straight, but internally you will be the center point of the whirlpool where everything else is spinning around you, but inside you are aligned to what you have to do. Then we move towards this last part of the third point, purposeful alignment. Connecting daily with the meaningful impact that you are creating. As I always tell in workshops also, everybody cannot be managers. Somebody has to be the office boy and the helper and so on. And if this office person, boy or girl, will not be there, you wouldn't get your refreshing tea and coffees in the morning at the table. So everybody has dignity of labor. For everyone in the company to understand and walk that path. That nobody is lower and higher in its sense. People may have lower designations and higher designations, but that's it. That's just those words and the work that they have to do because they have to do within that parameters. But there is dignity of labor from peon to president. And if that culture is not there, then it's easy for a company to break down when the value system is not in place. So creating impact and helping people to understand. So my office girl understands how important she is with the cleaning and the chai and the lovely sandwiches she makes for everybody, to all of that. And allowing them, a lot of times trusting them early in time can give hiccups, but that's fine. That's the chance the entrepreneur takes. That's the chance the leader takes. It is like asking somebody, do you have experience, and then keeping him in the company. But if every company says, do you have experience, and where will he gain the experience from? So there are so many underlying things within our daily interactions that we skip, that we miss. But when we are consciously connected to ourselves and to leading it outside of us in that manner, then we will understand these nuances in a more better way. The last part is ethical foundations, as I said, for the value system. Clear values guiding all decision-making factors and helping everybody else in that. That, okay, life don't do. Mistake is there. Sorry for the banging. Mistake is there. Problem is there. Open it out, put the cards onto the table. Yes, there you might be reprimanded, you might be scolded, there might be things, but be honest. I remember this as a child. My aunt, who used to teach me and was my biggest force of who I am today with my parents, would say, if you get less marks in exams, you have to run and come and tell first. If you lie and do not tell, you'll get 2 beatings. If you've got less marks, then you may get 1 beating. So it was always the habit of speaking the truth, however ugly or however seemingly bad that it may be. But it was to put it out there, and then kind of relieve your heart. Oh, I've said it out. It's out from my end and it's done, kind of a thing. So that's what I would say conscious work culture would comprise of in few words.
Oh, Roshani, thank you for sharing that wisdom. So much, guys, to take in. Really, really awesome. Then touching on what we spoke about a little bit earlier, spiritual and heart-centric leadership. Can you share how exactly does a spiritual or heart-centric leadership work, and how would the approach to normal day growth challenges be? Because thinking of today's life or today's world, wouldn't a situation like that be or wouldn't you be termed as a weak, leading from that?
Sure. That's the concern that most have, Chris, because we've never understood the balance between the head and the heart. People say if you're too emotional, oh, we're spirit. So spirituality does not mean become foolish. Operating actually from the spirit is what is called spiritual. And that spirit is your life force energy. You may not believe in nobody, but you cannot refute that you are one walking, talking in flesh energy ball. You cannot refute that. So whatever that energy is, whatever you want to term it as, you want to term it as just energy, you want to term it as life force, you want to term it as soul, spirit, that doesn't matter because it does not need any title. It exists and it'll keep on doing its work. So whether I believe in karma, whether somebody believes in reincarnations, whether somebody believes in this or that or not, doesn't matter. Because what is will remain as is. And it'll keep doing its work. Now, either I take this toolbox and make things work as per my journey that I need, or I leave the toolbox and I say, I don't believe in this toolbox. It doesn't exist. So that's completely in my hands. So a spiritual toolkit for the spiritual approaches towards the growth challenges actually will strengthen us. We are living in a superficial dimension. We are trying to do things and bring everything that is artificial and superficial into our life because we have lost the connection to the natural being. Meditation is not just sitting like this and doing things for hours. But we have to do this exaggerated format because the inner self has lost its connection to that natural self and the natural way of being, of deep breathing or whatever. And it has been normalized to live in shallow breathing. So I have to remind my inner mechanism that, oh, you were meant for deeper breathing. Let me teach you again. See, this is how you do it. See, this is how you do it. So actually, there is nothing from the outside that I'm bringing in. I'm only rewiring my inside. I'm only moving my cubic square inside to come into all colors on one side. And that needs practice because it has not been able to do before that. It has been okay with all the jumbled up colors. It has been okay with the shallow breathing. But life pushes us at some point, at a point of no return, most probably, for a lot of people. And then we realize, oh my God, I should have done this. This should statement is a very big thing in life, Chris. Because when somebody sets to do something, it seems to be the best thing that we want to do. That's why we do it. Otherwise, why would you do it? It is only in retrospect when something becomes good or bad, correct or incorrect. Oh, I shouldn't have done this. Oh, I shouldn't have trusted her. Oh, I shouldn't have given that to him. So, this string of regrets with this word should and shouldn't, or I should have done this. I should have given that. I should have taken more care. I should have called her up more often. So when we are creating a life with a spiritual approach, then we would have lesser to at some point in time zero regrets, first of all. We would be able to tap into the optimal potential of the people that are around us and helping them realize that by creating these silly mistake patterns that they're doing, they are missing out on their own potential. So, approaches for these growth challenges, A, would be this: to one with people when it is, to keep reminding them, even after closing all the reprimanding and scolding, as I said, thereafter to get back and reminding of their potential and why they shouldn't have made that mistake. Again, shouldn't, and that they need not regret it, rather take this lesson and move forward. In this aspect, also, what will happen is we will strengthen our hand holding of uncertainties in our life, navigating that uncertainty. What happened in the pandemic, most people who are not down with COVID were down with some other illnesses due to fear. Fear was a bigger pandemic than COVID-19 itself. So, because we are not programmed for uncertain times, we are not programmed for failures. So, in personal life as well, when I'm programming myself that failure and uncertainty is a part of that graph and will be there at some point or the other, then I will be much stronger in my inner immunity, which is the spiritual immunity. There were many people who were doing lots of things for their physical immunity and yet got down with COVID. They were taking utmost care of everything, and yet it happened. And there are innumerable stories to that, because at that time I did almost 135 live sessions every single day. And we did sets of 28, like gratitude sessions. We did master classes on uncertainty. Then we did another master class on grief to gratitude, and a whole lot of things we did at that time. And there were so many stories coming in. So navigating uncertainty in our daily life, besides even being leaders or entrepreneurs, is very, very critical. And embracing the unknown in that is the important part. Through mindfulness practices, through pranayams and other spiritual practices, and trusting the larger patterns that are unfolding beyond what is in our control or understanding. Everything need not be an equal to. But because our ego mind or the waking mind needs that equal to, we try to create narratives. Oh, because I ate that, the stomach went out. But the eating part is a trigger. The emotions that cause that trigger to create the sickness in your tummy is lying within you. Even if you deal with medication and the tummy is fine, you will manifest that emotion in another way after some time. That cannot go unless you have navigated. So we are all wheeler dealers. We try to deal with things. But unless and until we feel, process, and heal, it can never be closed. And when we do that, we'll be able to navigate uncertainties of life in a much stronger way, in a more resilient way. Second is patience and timing. Recognizing, these natural cycles of life, of things that are happening. It's like putting in a seed and wanting the rose plant to flush out of it the next day because you want a rose plant the next day in your balcony. It cannot happen. It could be 5 seeds put at the same time, but each will take its own divine timing to bloom. And every day you will not dig the earth and see, oh, how much has it grown? How much has it grown? It will never grow. So it is to learn how much to do and when to step back. that is required for entrepreneurs and leaders? How much of leeway to give? How much of trusting that is required in what will unfold and not trying to control every outcome? Because the uncertainty will not create the same outcome for you all the time. Our lessons are hidden in our everyday life. And we all have come with the whole laundry list of lessons to learn. The other one is right relationships to competition. Just as relationship with failure, we also need a relationship with competition, healthy competition as we call. And that begins with, first of all, knowing that I am in no competition with anybody else besides my old self of yesterday. And then I will have the compassion to see every other competition the same way, that even he or she is trying to be better than what they were yesterday. As I said in the earlier one, that there are people who draw a line to grow higher, and they'll keep drawing their line and making the effort. And there would be some people who will try to erase your line, and thereby their line is higher than you, taller than you, lengthier than you. So all kinds of people will be there. But we have to be only and only in that knowingness that the only things that I can control is intentions that I have, thoughts that I create, words that I speak, actions that I do. Besides this, nothing else is in my control. So either I can crib on a party day for the new dress that I have because it's raining and now I cannot go to the party, and why this rain had to come, and completely be a party pooper and like completely banish my plans. Or I can say, oh, I've not done coloring since so long because of all this hectic chaos in life. Let me get back to my painting and coloring and save this time. Good, the party didn't happen. I can get back to this. Or just watch something, make popcorn for myself. So what I do, the event will still remain the same. The outcome is resultant to my response or reaction to that. And that will always be so in anything that we do. So the shifting from that scarcity or the fear mindset to abundance mindset, to resilient mindset, thinking that everything can grow with collaboration and mutual success as well. Plants next to each other doesn't mean that they will not grow. In fact, some need that harboring of the shade or the pollination for it to grow. So if we move away from the sea of competition to the sea of collaboration, we'll be able to have healthier outlook towards everything that's happening around us, and then only focus not on what the competition is doing, but after knowing what the competition is doing, I will focus on, oh, I need to better this, so let me focus on my work now. That how do I better this? Is there some strength that this person has that we can collaborate? And it's not possible that every time you can collaborate. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that there is large scopes for people to collaborate strengths and bring those strengths to the table and emerge with something bigger.
Wow. Thank you, Roshani. On that, I want to ask, do you mind sharing some daily spiritual practices for entrepreneurs and company leaders that could help them stay calm and centered to run the show?
Sure. I would share with a few things that, I myself practice as well. And it could be helpful, and there are several other plethora of practices that are there all over the net as well. So each one can take up what resonates best with yourself.
Yeah, those
And
are great.
again, it's not that you enter a mall and you pick up every soap that's on the deck to try it out, right? A, you may pick up something for which you loved the advertisement, or B, you may just intuitively pick up what you feel will be good for you. So there is intuition at every level. It's not just in making big decisions. I feel like wearing this dress. Now, what does this feel? There are a whole lot of dresses. Why do I feel like wearing this dress? Right? So, intuition is a powerful, powerful tool that needs to be harnessed, and more so ever in today's time, because we have become completely operational in our gross mindset of Maya, of materialism, and we've lost touch with the spirit in its entirety for major parts of the world. And this also is happening because emptying has to happen. For lifetimes, we have been collecting all of these actions, thoughts, words in the collective consciousness, which today, Mother Earth, which today, the worldwide, we're seeing everything coming out. And when each one of us are responsible for our own selves, then we can have 8 billion population who is healthy and operating from their inner base, their spirit and life force. We will not need healing mediums and doctors and this ones and therapists and so on. There would be a world without visas and places without borders. But the aspect is that we are always concerned of the outside. So these practices that can help us to anchor our own selves first. And when we are anchored, we will be able to change a lot of things around us. So one I would say is intention setting that has helped me a lot. Of beginning, each day. I even end each day with reflection and intention, which I'll come to. But intending that day, of having the deeper purpose and setting out these specific intentions of how I will embody my values in my interactions today, how I will not succumb. Like, God, for me, it is those who don't believe in God or anything need not say that. They could just say it, you know, as an intention to themselves, that I will not succumb to compromising my values. I will not succumb to anybody oppressing me for changing my values and belief systems on the values that I hold right, to so on. To intend that, okay, today there is this thing, today now this challenge has come up. Okay, fine, eruption happened. Now, how will I tackle it? So constant intention drawing, from that reservoir from within will help the person to remain balanced through the day, even if the graph is going up and down. So setting out these things to tell ourselves will help us remain anchored in that. Then mindful transitions, that taking brief pauses of maybe doing nothing, just breathing or not even breathing and just staying calm, taking a power nap, just centering yourself, particularly, before important meetings or important decisions are to be taken. And to know that never ever take decisions when you're emotional or when you're angry. To create that statement in your value system statements that you will never make. So it could even be of throwing somebody out. And even after throw out, I will throw out somebody in calmness and not there and there when something has happened. Then it is of using the breath awareness or a brief meditation, creating those specific intentions that you have already had, and seeing how you will embody them in your business interactions, work interactions through the day. Then in the evening, releasing the day, which is so very important. We sleep with the problems, we sleep with our burdens. We do not allow them to let go. So, reflecting, introspecting, and releasing in the night is very, very important. Of what happened, what triggers threw me off the roof, what happened in this situation, and then contemplating and reviewing it again by your own self, noting the misalignment possibly or things that were in alignment. And was there a difference between the actions and the values that you've set for yourself? Creating these conscious intentions and retrospecting on them, introspecting on them, contemplating on them will create a large room for improvement to set tone for the next day. And like this, there could be other different practices, as I said, yoga, breathing, any other kind of mindfulness practices like journaling, gratitude writing. All of these are there, and these are equally powerful in their own rights. And each one of us is a unique mix. None of us are the same. So each one of us will resonate or have more powerful connection with one practice, or two practices, or three different practices. Chanting, creating your own affirmations and powerful statements. As I said, you don't need to believe in God, you don't need to believe in universe, there's that. Even if you don't, just with the power of speaking. That is why when we were young, we were asked to speak aloud when we were learning spellings and words, or any you know things that needed to be by heart in school, so that the voice falls back onto our ears. And that is the system. When we speak, we are embedding it in our certain 5 energy centers instantaneously. And the system implements it when required. Therefore, even if you've studied right now, 6 months later in the examination, you're remembering that because your system has implemented that and imprinted it into your DNA sheet. The neurotransmitters know when to produce it out back. So speaking affirmations and creating affirmative statements, which are productive, which are positive, will help creating that energy and creating that circle, or the fortress of immunity that we need in our everyday life, especially in today's times as we go along.
Wow. Well, thanks for sharing that, Roshani. I'm gonna have to. There's two more questions that I've got left here, but I might have to cut one. So I'm gonna have to ask you. We've spoken quite a lot of practices, and of course, our listeners would like to see you in action. So I want to ask, do you mind if you could take us through a short, quick meditation practice with you to relieve us from stress and anxiety? I think those two
Sure,
might be the most important one these days.
sure,
Oh,
sure.
awesome. Thank you, Roshani.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me just get
Yeah.
myself out here.
Yeah. Could you give me, I'll share
Oh,
just a
yeah.
second. Give me a second. I'll just share some music so that.
Awesome. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to put it in chat, and then we'll get to that after this exercise.
Sam has a question here.
Dr. Sam, yes.
Yes, To Rochelle, is there a way that one can use to connect the mind and the heart, or a formula that one can use? Because the connection between the two, that's what makes one powerful.
Sure. So, it is in these practices itself lies the answer that there is no literal connection of doing things internally and joining the wires for both together. But when these practices happen, it creates this bridge. It creates this balance for us to make the decisions, and we will be able to tell when we introspect, did I make this decision out of mind, or did I make this decision out of heart, or did I make this decision out of a balance of both? So breathing practices and taking situations. So take any old situation where you have reacted in some way and put that down, that this situation happened and you reacted in this way. And then what are the other responses that in this point of time you think you could do to that? And write those down for yourself. And when you write those down, you will realize that those will come out of the balance of thinking with your heart and mind both put together. And you will not allow either of them to overweigh the decision-making factor. So it is, for example, sometimes we say, oh, you have to put a stone to your heart and decide this. A lot of times we use this phrase. And it is to see what is right for the overall project, for the overall life of all concerned. So I just had to make a very, very strong decision just this week as I came back from our village NGO center. And we had to let 3 people go after working with us for a few years, because the things that they have done, which has harmed and which has been harm to the collective lot, from the children to the other workers, was way overweighing than the basic work that they were doing. And several chances and opportunities of change and transformation and moving away from the wrongdoings was given. But that wasn't considered. And it ended with a very violent outbursts from the worker. And ultimately, they are village workers, and they are of a certain, level which you cannot change, because that's how their upbringing is. But that does not give the solace for them to do anything that they want to do, which is harming the entire lot. So even though there was crying and weeping and give one more chance, I had to stand strong to my values of my inner self, saying, no, now is the time to put a full stop. And I would lose out because I don't have anybody now. My workforce is completely gone because that was the only person knowing English. And I yet did not let my neediness drive me. And I honored the intuition. I honored talking it out with my 2 other senior colleagues who are there running the center. That what do you think? See this whole picture, step out, see the whole jigsaw puzzle together, and see what harm it had created to the whole jigsaw puzzle. And then let me know your views. And then everybody was in sync. So when we daily practice something, it will become seamless at some point in time. And then there will be the strong knowingness that this is it. I hope it has answered what you wanted to know.
Yeah, no, Dr. Sam says, thank you for that answer. Great insight.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sam. Okay. So should we begin the...
Yes. Yeah, that would be great, Roshani.
Okay. Just Give me a second. I will just share. Can you hear the sound?
Yes, perfect.
Is my voice okay with it?
Yes, still good.
I'll switch off my video so that there's no distraction. Everyone can please close your eyes, not if you are driving. We'll begin by just trying to calm and loosen up our body. We'll begin from the head. Loosen your head, your face muscles, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your chest, your back, your stomach, your legs, your feet, your toes, and all other parts, muscles of your mind, body, and spirit. Be completely relaxed. And as you loosen up and relax, feel yourself sinking in the space where you are seated. Furthermore, and as you feel that calmness and loosening up of the entire body, take a few deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. With every inhale, breathe in all the love, light, and energy from Mother Earth, from your surrounding. All vital energy required for your system. And with every exhale, intent, releasing all your anxiety, your stress, your worries, your fears, your doubts, your disbeliefs, and all your cares dissolving. Energy can never be created or destroyed. It can only be transmuted. We will go through this process of transmuting the energy of all and any anxiety, stress, and fears that have been governing you at any level. And as you inhale and exhale with these intentions, you will bring your imagination or mind's eye to the point of 3 fingers below your navel area, to the seat of your spirit energy, your life force energy. Everything emerges and settles there. And as you take your mind's eye or intention to that point, you shall see, feel or imagine or simply intend a white shining dot of light. And as you intend that light, you will take a few deep breaths into that light and imagine it growing, expanding within you like rays of sunshine. And as you experience this light growing, you will now imagine placing in front of you a white shining, sparkling basket. Place it in front of you. We ask the spark of light within you to surface to your conscious mind the most impending worries, fears, or anxiety that you may be having right now. Surface each one to your conscious mind. Allow each one to surface. And as you surface each of these seeming problems, anxiety or fears, doubts, or any other matter that is draining you, you will imagine this seeming problem or issue turning into a black carbon ball, which you will release into the basket in front of you, removing it from your system and putting that belief, fear, worry, doubt, anger, regret, whatever the situation may be. Imagine it as a carbon ball and place it into the basket in front of you. Our cellular body collects all emotions and traps them in our system. Each part of our body takes in emotions from different aspects of our lives, and thus each cell contributing to that part, organ, muscle of the body keeps getting filled with the toxic energy of those emotions over a period of time until it can take it no more. And when these trapped emotions reach its saturated point, they burst out in the form of seeming illnesses, problems, issues connected to any karmic area of our life, be it health, abundance, career, business, relationships, social connections, and connection with the self. You will release all these toxins right now of the most important things that are draining you currently, and place these carbon ball representations into the basket in front of you, allowing your system to empty itself of these burdens. You will keep these seeming issues in your awareness to do a contemplative exercise after the meditation. And as you place all of these, you will take 3 deep cleansing breaths and first inhale these breaths into that white spark of light inside of you. And exhale and release the breath as if it's a beam of light going out from you into that basket. And with every exhale that you throw out, you are disintegrating and dissolving and transmuting the energy of those carbon balls in that white basket. See all those worries, fears, or whatever situations that are draining you that you have kept there, disintegrating into small fragments until they are totally dissolved and you can see them no more. Keep going on with deep inhales and exhales. Inhale into the white light inside of you. Exhale onto the basket in front of you. And at a point when they're completely disintegrated and dissolved, you shall see, feel, or intent the entire energy of those carbon balls transmuted into a shower of immunity light beaming onto you. Feel yourself as if you are under a shower and there is a gush of beaming light being poured onto you of the transmuted energy of all those toxins dissolved and transmuted into the love and light of compassion, healing, strength, resilience, and all resources that you require inside and outside of you to heal these situations. Feel yourself covered with that light. And as you get showered with that light outside of you, feel the inner light expanding more and more until it fills you up entirely in your inner being. Feel yourself covered in this white light inside and outside of you. Feel the inner power at that point below your navel. And affirm to yourself, I release everything that is draining me to the light each day. I am stronger, more resilient, more resourceful after every challenge that I transcend. I learn all my lessons with ease and grace. I release, I relax, I let go. Inhale deeply, and with the exhale repeat, I release, I relax, I let go. I release, I relax, I let go. With this, you will feel aligned and anchored in your being. And at the count of 10, you shall slowly open your eyes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very slowly open your eyes. Rub your palms and put them onto your eyes and feel the warmth in your entire inner being. When you feel that warmth, you can slowly move your palms away and then shake them on the side to release any residual energy. Whenever we release anything, there is always residual energy sticking around us in our energetic field. Shaking of hands helps us to release them through the tips of our fingers, which are energy exit points. Thank you and namaste for participating in this session.
Wow. Thank you, Roshani. That was amazing. It was really, really great. And I feel like I feel like I'm ready to conquer all my projects.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Awesome. But
Hi, Brad. Hi, Sam.
just want to say, Roshani, thank you for being here again for
Thank you.
part two, the second session. And Brad, welcome in, man. It was really a good one, I have to say. Roshani, thanks for being here. And I know there's a lot of challenges your side, and you wouldn't say it. Like you just radiant and you're present, if I could say it like that. So thank you for being here.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
Rada saying thank you for the great session. Stephanie saying got to go. Next meeting up. Thank you. Great session as well. And Dr. Sam, I relax, I release, I relax, and let go.
I let
Thanks.
go.
Oh, that
Thank
was
you so
great.
much.
Thank you, Roshani. And thank you to everyone that was listening offline and online. Really appreciate you guys being here, and I hope it was insightful and helps you in your daily life and career, as I know it should. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
great
you
week
so much.
ahead. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.